Hey, everybody, this is Mary.
And this is Julie.
And you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club. Hi, everybody.
Oh, hi.
Welcome, welcome. So
I did the thing. I did the thing that I probably got it on here. Oh, hi. Like that cat in the meme. I'm sorry.
Yes. It's
hi,
great.
Everybody.
Hi.
Now I'm Dr. Mick.
So it's interesting, guys. We're taping this show on Tuesday, August 20th, when J-Lo filed for divorce from Ben Affleck. It's a sad time in the world. Again.
Sad time. Look, the DNC is rocking tonight. They've got like a DJ, and I was crying and like, oh God, like they're voting for her. That's great. They're nominating her. And then J-Lo's over here. And now we're like, oh God,
J-Lo. Right.
Breaking up again.
It's funny because it's our show tonight is talking about spiritual discernment, and we're going to give some examples about people we have dated and know not to date, and how you can avoid that again in the future. But I think Ben and J-Lo need some of that spiritual discernment, or just like they got to work out some stuff. Whatever's going on there, they got to work it out. I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying, man, those two, I was afraid they weren't going to make it. I was afraid. I was so afraid
too.
I did.
The Dunkin' commercial was so good, but was it like foretelling of what was going to happen?
Oh no. Oh, no. It's just too much. Boston, New York, that difference is just too much. I guess it's just too much. But anyway, so we're going to talk about spiritual discernment tonight. And one of the things that I was talking with a client with, I won't reveal anything about that, but she was talking about something about not knowing, like, how do you know about lessons that are coming up? And I said, I started to look at it like this. In the world, I think that we have feelings about things, right? We meet someone, we have a feeling about them. And whether they, at the beginning, we kind of get a little feeling of maybe we're not compatible, or as you're with them for a little while, you start to get all these red flags. You have to decide whether you want to go through that. And what I had said was, you have to decide whether that's a lesson you want to learn in this lifetime, in this way.
And when you told me that, I was like, oh my God. All of these lessons, maybe I didn't want to learn them. No,
I did. I'm like, oh,
but
wait.
No, well, tell it's Sagittarius.
Yes. Well, I was having this moment too after I got off with my client. I was like, we talk about relationships and all these important relationships in our lives, right? And we meet people, and I don't think we ever come out of a relationship without some kind of awareness. If you don't want to say lesson, some people are like, yeah, that lesson, it wasn't, it's not a lesson to be a bad thing, guys. That's not how I mean it. It's more of just an understanding and awareness, a knowledge, something that would make you do something different the next time, so that you don't go through a hurt or a tough kind of challenge. So what do you think about that, Jules? Like, what do you think about spiritual discernment stuff?
Okay, I'm going to be clear, because when you were talking about that, I started thinking about J-Lo and Ben Affleck again. So I'm a little off. But also, I think that, like, and I was thinking like lessons and whatever, but some of it, sometimes you'll hear in therapy, like, it's your growth edge. Like, is it something that you notice that you struggle with or have a blind spot with, and suddenly you see it? Like, is that something that you want to learn by working on it yourself, or in a relationship that may or may not pan out? Now, I will say, you guys know, married to a therapist. Like, Mary and I both are like big proponents the right words. We're enthusiastic about therapy.
Yes, definitely.
Important and good. So sometimes it comes up in a relationship, and it's good to work on it while you're in the relationship. That doesn't mean it's bad. But sometimes you get like, that dude on like TikTok who carries the big giant red flag. Like, he'll start watching a video and he's like, how's this going to go?
Right.
How's it going to turn out? Like, are you getting the big flag? But you're like, let's just see how it goes.
No.
Or even a little flag.
Like, yeah. That, let's just see how it goes. That's not, because it doesn't go well. Guys, it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
You know,
And
let's just
everybody, we all have relationships where we can learn from each other. Like, we're not saying that's not a thing, that you'll just find the perfect person and it'll be just perfect and there's nothing to learn. Like, that's not how that works either. But also, like, sometimes but you do it anyway.
But you do it anyway. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Been there, done that. I think
We
also
all have.
we all have. Please. Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I have several in mind past. So it's not just one. But I also that idea of, is this a lesson I want to learn, takes the person out of it. Because you know how it's, when you were just saying this made me think of it. Right. So we always like, is this my soulmate? Is this my person? Is this my, well, let's take that out for a second. Like, is this the lesson I want to be learning? Do I want to be treated like this? Is this, is this making me feel better, or is it making me feel like I'm not whatever? I'm not special. I'm not worthy. I'm not whatever. What's it making me feel?
Are they telling me that?
Right.
And that, but again, that's putting them back in. I think there's that line to watch for, maybe that it's like, we're not necessarily like, you don't want to put all the problems on the other person. I mean, sometimes they're the problem, but there's two people in a relationship, blah, 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 blah. We are not talking about like a DV kind of situation.
No,
like,
no.
We're not talking about that.
No. No.
We all had that scrub boyfriend. Remember your old scrub boyfriend or girlfriend or they friend. All right. Just think back to that person. Were they a lesson you needed to learn?
So when I was thinking back over those relationships, I could see where I had the lessons, the awareness, whatever it was. I mean, would I've liked to go through those? No. Now looking back, I'm like, well, I probably could have avoided that. But it's also very important to kind of realize what those have propelled you to, like to think about, like, or to do differently, or we can take a positive from them, even though they might have sucked. And
it's, stick with me for a second.
I'm with you.
This might go nowhere.
I'm sure it's going to
like
go somewhere.
Mercury retrograde. You think it's bad all over. Oh, it was a shitty boyfriend. You think it's bad all over, but really you can reflect and learn from it and come out a better person on the other side.
Yes. That's perfect.
Does that stick? We'll see. Are we in Mercury retrograde now? Yes.
Yes. But so like, let's take Ben and J-Lo again, right? I'm sure I know. Let's take Ben and J-Lo again. So here they are. They're together. They say the media split them up. Media splits them up. They go off. They marry other people, have other lives. They come back together. This great love story. And then they're divorcing after 2 years. It's like, I wonder, from a, if you believe in karma, from a karmic perspective, they come back to settle something out. They had to finish something.
Maybe,
it could be that they, and it could be just, hey, we figured out the what if it didn't work. But I don't think that's necessarily it. I think there's something else there that they finally were like, okay, we did this. We can close the door on it. We don't have to wonder anymore. And for whatever reason, their timing now was not like the timing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so here's the other thing that you and I were talking about recently. And so guys, hang in there with me, because this might sound a little far-fetched, but we're at the timeline thing we were talking about right before. So you think about, there's this idea that there's different parts of us that are existing in different places, right? There's alternative realities, which I know might sound weird, but stay with me guys for a second.
Look, you guys know about like multiverse, right? Like, think about Marvel multiverse if you're having a hard time with it. Think about who's into the fact that whenever they turn into the Hadron Collider, something feels off and different. Think about it that way. Okay.
Yeah. But there's this time where you meet somebody, right? And you like see like how great they are, even though like it could be no one else sees it at that moment. Like, but you see it because on some alternative reality, that is who they are, but they're not living it in this like physical lifetime right now. So they'd have to do work to get there. So as we do our work, and we're on the same timeline and we shift, or we do whatever, we're not going to be able to like understand each other, because there's a change that's been made. So it's almost like you move into a different timeline, or you move into a different version of yourself that no longer really is on that line anymore. So yes, you can change how things turn out by doing your work, because you're not on the same path. So it is a chance to change your path. if you do the work you need to do. So if you don't like where life is going, guys, and I know this sounds very simple, and I'm not, for folks that are struggling, please, I'm not, throwing that out the window, but part of it is that if we start working on the stuff that we need to, that shifts timelines and that shifts life.
Right. Yeah. This is not like, this is not like a toxic positivity, pull yourself up from your bootstraps kind of bullshit situation.
Absolutely
like,
not.
It's just another opportunity and way to conceptualize like how you work on yourself and how do you measure your results. Right. I personally, the timeline metaphor is difficult for me as a person. It just is. I think part of that has to do with like how I grew up and like where I feel like personal agency is, and the fact that I hate simulation reality theory. There's a lot in here, guys. So, but that doesn't mean it's not a way that can be healthy and conceptual for people, way for people to conceptualize things. So if timelines doesn't work, is it just like some people talk about like what vibration you're on is another way to kind of think about it, right? Another thing is just like we grow and change as people. But sometimes it's fun to conceptualize it differently, especially how it integrates into like our minds and our bodies. Like sometimes you need those different ways of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Jules.
And sometimes it helps to like, well, this is just me and my anxiety coming out and like,
no, it's good.
Like,
no, it's good.
But, I think that finding a way that you relate spiritually to the world or not, depending on, but this is a woo spiritual podcast. So we assume you guys are with us and not just like, fuck spirits, because that wouldn't make sense.
No.
Maybe you're just your friends and you love us and we love you for that. But
thank you.
Thank you. But from that kind of perspective, finding the way that it makes sense in your mind and can integrate like mentally, spiritually, physically. I don't think there's any one right or wrong way to do that. And I think this is just another way to like conceptualize how we learn lessons in life, but also like reconcile the fact and not beat ourselves up for being in a relationship that kind of sucked and maybe we knew we shouldn't have been in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I got kind of maudlin. I'm sorry.
No. I think it's true though. I can beat myself up over past stuff. I think just anybody can. We all do that, right? So it doesn't make sense to do that, and that to just kind of build on that a little bit. Thanks for giving some alternative thoughts to that, Jules. Because sometimes I get very woo. It's good. No, it's good.
Too. It's just different.
Yeah, but I sometimes when I talk to people, they'll say to me, but I saw them so differently. Like, I don't understand how I didn't see it. And it's like, yeah, but you saw the best in them. You saw what the potential was. You saw what they could be, which is great.
And I love that idea. And when you talk about the timeline part of it, how it sinks in my brain is like when you say you can see who they could be. Like that's the part that's kind of there. And you can kind of see, it's harder to see who you could be, I think.
Right.
Like yourself.
Yeah.
But when you can see it for somebody else. But I think for people who are often in like this woo kind of space too, a lot of us are like really trying to cope with the fact that we're like people pleasers or looking for meaning and all this kind of stuff. And it's not your job to fix that person.
No.
As much as you think it is. Hello, me.
Hello, me. Hi.
But it's not your job to fix that person. It doesn't mean you are an asshole, but make sure you're looking out for yourself and making sure you're working on being your best self too.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to leave people behind.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. And it's not, and again, so Ben and JLo, they went through some things, they came back together. They'll learn some more things. They've split apart. Who knows? We could have Ben and JLo 3.0.
I was going to say, what was the break? So is it like when they hit like 60, 70, they'll do it again? We don't know.
They might
40, 50. I don't know.
So they're in their early 50s. So we may see it during their Saturn return. We may see it like 58 to 60 that they might come back and just settle down And that will be it.
Heard it here first, people.
Yeah, they might come back around. So I wouldn't be surprised that happens. But it's an interesting, if you look at them together, and just kind of the lessons they may have gone through. We're speculating. There's celebrities, guys. That's
Yeah, we don't know that.
We don't know, but it seems that coming back together. The other thing is that how they knew each other in the past, since they've been through some different things, it's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, anybody getting divorced, I think is a shame. So I hope that they find their paths into their people, and they find their happiness again, because they that makes me sad for them. It really does. But like I said, Ben and Benifer 3.0, you never ever know.
You never
You
know.
never, oh no. So listen, just guys, I think we're all just trying to do our best. This is not a recommendation and beating yourself up or anything like that.
No,
Don't
please
do that.
no.
Please don't. But it's saying, like, you can take a beat instead of trying to figure out, like, if this person is supposed to be with me, because that's when it gets really convoluted.
There you go.
Is it the lesson I want to learn? Is it, I know this might be kind of a rough road. Is that the road I want to go down? It doesn't mean, the person's not a bad person per se, maybe.
And maybe why I'm questioning this, what does it say about me? What are the issues within me
Right.
that I'm worried
Right.
about or seeing or
Mhm.
projecting on this other person? Like,
Mhm.
what do I need for myself? Do I have a
Right.
therapist that can help me? Is there
Mhm.
something, or somebody like a trusted friend or spiritual advisor, someone that I
Mhm.
can kind of talk this out with and kind of
Right.
work through, so we're not just letting like those old like hurts
Mhm.
or fears or like needs that weren't addressed at different points in our life drive us in these relationships, as opposed to like being like fully embodying what's happening and taking
Yeah.
responsibility for yourself and letting that person take responsibility for themselves and then coming together as a couple.
Right. Right. Yeah. Do your work, sexy. Do your work, sexy.
Do your work,
Do
sexy.
your work, sexy, whatever that is. But what I will tell you is, you can't figure it out in your own head, guys. You need someone else to help you along. So, find your tribe, however that is, whether it's a therapist
Yeah.
and friends, or, you're journaling like crazy, you're doing a retreat, whatever it is. It's just, as Julie said, we're big proponents of therapy. So of course I'll always say to someone, find a good therapist. And it's hard, I
Yeah.
know, but also know that that's something that you can switch off of a therapist. Or if you're like, I have this therapist, but something doesn't feel right anymore, maybe you switch, or maybe you
Yeah.
talk about it. It's finding, or if you've had a bad experience with a therapist before, there's other ones out there, and you can find somebody. And if that's like, no, still don't feel good about that, then there's other ways to do some healing work. So
Yeah.
so do what's best for you. And I know it's a journey. So be easy on yourself for that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jules, how can people find us?
Oh, well, they can email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at High Priestess Hype Club. You can go to our website, hypeclub.live. You can find Mary at marydalba.com, and you can find me on the social medias at Which I'm Trying. Let's start there
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Let's just throw that one out there today.
Which I'm
Someday I'll get it
trying.
all together.
You have it all together. It's evolving. It's evolving.
It's
So,
evolving.
yes. Well, guys, have a great night or day whenever you're listening to this. And just remember, you are magic. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club, and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now, because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.